In the first episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, you might notice something looks a little bit different, and that's the intro screen where it shows the show's logo. It's this strange early 90s CGI, maybe even late 80s style CGI, just very early computer. And I don't know if I'm alone on this, but I kind of wish the entire show looked like this. This adaptation of the animation looking just very early. It gives off a creepy vibe, but it's also very intriguing and it makes me want to learn more. Very mysterious. Every time I see something with this kind of style, it always brings that kind of vibe, just like creepiness. But then it goes past that logo and then the show is just a traditionally animated CGI show, which isn't inherently a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that the show looks like that overall because I think it helped the show appeal to more of an audience. Because I guarantee you not everyone likes that style. It'll definitely turn some people off. However, I kind of wish the whole entire show looked like that because I just really like that style and it isn't used very often. But what if I had told you there is a version of the show that looked like this, that was horrifying? Well, it exists. It's called Duffy's Digital Circus. Duffy's Digital Circus is an online series, and it basically takes what I just said and actually makes it a reality. It gives every character a unique name. For example, Pomni is referred to as Jester, and she's the main villain here. It's really cool the way it's done. It starts off with Caine kind of just learning the, powers he has, but then it just kind of goes dark and dark throughout each episode. Now, comparing this to the main show, I do think it does things better in some parts because the main show sometimes it kind of felt like filler. This felt like full-on horror and everything was happening for a reason. It kept me engaged and at the edge of my seat. There was a lot of scenes, however, where there was kind of nothing happening and it was kind of supposed to be like ambience, which I understand, which is good, but I feel like there was a little bit too much of that. And I got kind of bored at some points. But continuing on, it was really good. The characters were pretty well written. The show actually doesn't have voice acting, it uses subtitles. And I feel like this kind of adds to it. But I think a cool thing could have been like maybe like an old style text to speech or like really low quality sample for voices. I think that's a really cool idea for this. The way the show is compared to the regular Digital Circus, the original Digital Circus is obviously split between episodes like a normal TV show. The Duffy Digital Circus is short YouTube videos, but they all lead into each other and the story progresses between each one. If you were online a couple of years ago, this was very popular in the FNAF community with the fan VHS films. They were all very well animated and they just were very intriguing. They gave off a very similar vibe to this. Now, I do think that the one reason that Digital Circus stood out was, like I said, because of its animation. It's really well animated, and I can't underestimate that, especially in the later episodes. Like, it is genuinely beautifully animated with the colors. And it's cool because as you watch a show, it progresses. Now, maybe an entire show looking like this would be kind of stale after a while. With Duffy's Digital Circus, it didn't get stale because the imagery was increasing and all the characters really looked horrifying. Now there is this one scene I want to talk about because I just think it's really weird, but I want to mention it. So like Pomni, but in this she's known as Jester. She's like mad all the time and everything. She's genuinely creepy. She kind of is just mad at everyone, but at one point, like Ragatha, like this, and she looks really weird in the show. She like wants power, so she like wants to eat a cat. And then Pomni Jester gets mad at Ragatha and then just like absolutely demolishes her. It was really out of nowhere, but I really liked it. That was probably my favorite scene. Ragatha in this version sucked. L Ragatha. I'm glad she got cooked. Yeah, that was probably my favorite scene. There isn't really any jump scares, which I enjoy because I think jump scares are kind of predictable. They prevent rewatchability because it's like, oh yeah, I already know what's gonna happen. And if you go back to rewatch this, which I have to like understand the story a little bit more, um, it's a lot more fun because it's like you could actually read the story, think about it. It's not just like imagery, jump scare. Okay, I already know what's gonna happen. There's not much plot build up. I want to know the story. Whenever I sit down and watch something, I like knowing the story and I like seeing how the characters develop. Um, Whenever I watch something, that's what I want to see. Whether I'm reading a book or I'm playing a game that has a story, and of course watching a show. I like seeing the way the characters change over time. And in this version of the show, it definitely happens, but it's not as much as the main show. I feel like the way the main show did it was kind of drastic and out of nowhere. Like they changed Jax so quickly. Meanwhile here, everyone kind of stayed the same, but like you learned more about them over time, and they did actions that really changed them. Like if you remember in the episode with the burgers, there was the stupid sauce. The stupid sauce is in this version of the show. Gangle drinks it, and it causes her to hallucinate and attack Jax and Ragatha, I believe, or a Zooble. It was either of the two. I don't remember, but and it was a crazy scene. And then the sauce wears off, and then she just sees both of them, and they were trying to help Gangle, like defeat Jester, and it was just like that was a crazy scene. It was crazy. It was very well done. Yeah, I do think that this show, I think something that the other show, the main show, kind of does is like, I feel like they really should have experimented with more art styles. I think the show had some nice moments. I know people really liked that one really short scene where they were in an anime area. I do think for the other adventures that they should have experimented with other art styles. Like for example, the bar scene where it was like grayscale. Like that was really well done. I think there should have been more of that. I think maybe a pixelated world where they're like low poly, or maybe a hand-drawn one or something. I think experimenting with styles really helps the show stick out, but I do understand why it doesn't have that. I do understand why the show kind of went with that basic 3D thing, because it definitely it'll please more of an audience. Because I know for a fact, because I've tried to show like retro games, some people are like, ew, that game looks old, it's ugly, I don't want to play it. That's genuinely how some of a casual audience is. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just how people's brains work. They see something, they're like, ew, I don't like that. And that's fine. But I think it's good that the main show did that, but it would have been really cool if we got this version of the show. But I just want to talk about it because I thought it was really well done, and it was really cool, and I highly encourage you to check it out. It's really cool. Yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you could like the video and subscribe, that would really mean a lot to me. I'm trying to like talk more about digital circus and like other indie stuff. I haven't really done this before. If you're new around here, or if you've been watching, pretty much all of my subscribers are from like a mobile game video screen recording that I made that got like almost 1 million views, and then obviously Plants vs Zombies I got like 4,000 subs from. So my channel is kind of a mixed audience mess. But if you guys like the indie related content, thank you so much. But thank you guys for watching. Bye.